of communication. Now, this is a very important journey because you will be having a lot of questions regarding communication, stakeholder, and all those things. What is communication? Now, communication at its basic is this. There is a human being. You want to say something, okay, and there is another human being. He says that to it, if he or she understood it. Communication happens this way. There's a sender, there's a receiver. Sender is someone who's sending some information. I am sending you information here. So I'm a sender. I am encoding the information. Encoding simply means I'm putting the information in a logical way, in my language, in a perspective that you can understand. We are having a medium. Through medium, the information is being transferred to you. For example, if you watch this video at YouTube, then the medium will be YouTube. If you watch at LinkedIn, so and so on. So that will be a medium. Anything that damages the communication is called as noise. It's called as noise. Sender, receiver, I encode the information. The receiver decode the information. Try to understand what is being said, what is the context, and then he provide the feedback. Okay, so this becomes the communication model, and communication is basically the 90% job of the project manager according to Andy Crow. In my opinion, in my experience, actually 100% of the job of the project manager is communication with team, project stakeholders, up stakeholder, down stakeholders, and all other. So he needs to understand the diversity of the stakeholders. He needs to respect the diversity. He needs to understand the cultural difference. Like there are some signs that are not allowed in one religion and are allowed in one religion. For example, some signs are considered good in the US, but whereas they are not considered good in Japan. For example, if I gave you a gift, if you are someone who's following US culture like that is being followed in Pakistan, India, and most of the world, if I gave you a gift, you will open it and want to see it. You wouldn't care about the packing of the gift, but if you are in Japanese culture, you will care about the packing because packing is very like useful, very respectful in the Japanese culture. We need to understand the diversity, the culture, the political awareness is very important. Then we need to understand what is the urgency of the communication. Is it an urgent communication or it's a normal communication? What is the security level of this communication? It's a confidential communication or it's a normal communication. According to that, we choose communication medium, how to use communication technology. Do we need WhatsApp, Microsoft Project, Primavera? Whatever the information is required, we use according to all these criteria. Very important. Then we understand, do we need to have a push communication? Like the messages that continuously come to your mobile, the call that you didn't want, that's a push communication. Emails, they are push communication. Anything that you didn't intend it and is coming to you is a push communication. Pull communication, the very good form of communication. Now, you go to the YouTube, you search it, journey of communication, you watch this journey, you have gone yourself. So that becomes pull communication. Okay, so the pull communication is more towards e-learning, all those. Interactive communication. When you and I are talking to each other, that becomes interactive communication. It can be face to face, that is recommended. It can be by video call, it can be by phone call. So it is basically the level of communication. The best is face to face, the second is video call, the third is phone, and so and so on. Okay, so now the communication can be formal, it can be informal, it can be written in both, okay, and it can be oral. So formal, informal, both comes. Written also come as formal, informal, and oral also comes this thing. Very important thing. Email is considered as unofficial. Unofficial communication according to PMI. Even in 6th edition or 7th edition or PMI ATP material, email is still considered as unofficial communication. Be careful about this thing. Okay, so then we need to know how many stakeholders are there. We communicate according to them. So we have this formula to calculate number of stakeholders, n into n minus 1 by 2. N is the number of stakeholders. Let's say n number of stakeholders are 5. So it becomes 5 into 5 minus 1 by 2, 4. So 2, 10 number of channels are there. Now all these things are done. Now come the most important things about communication. 4 R of communication. Right information at right time to right people to have the right impact. One more time, right information at right time to right audience or right people to have right impact. In order to do that, we make communication management plan. In communication management plan, all these things are written. We authorize how the communication will flow. We authorize who is allowed to communicate. We will authorize how this communication will be done. Who is authorized, how to do, which type of communication, when to do, frequency, each and everything about communication must be in the communication management plan. Guys, how to satisfy the stakeholder? Strategies are written in stakeholder engagement plan, but how to communicate, which format, which frequency, all those things must be mentioned in the communication management plan. This is very important. Communication management plan and stakeholder engagement plan are the two most important plans that you will be seeing in your PMP exam, including the third one, resource management plan or team plan. So that they are very important plans, so be sure about these things. They are very important. So once the communication plan has been done, all those things has been mentioned in this, then we go to the next process. We start implementing communication. That is managed communication. I called managed communication as more of a post office. Okay, so this is basically post office. All the information, all the data, work performance data, work performance report, everything comes here. Work performance report. You remember we went through the journey of work performance data to information, then get into monitoring and control, become report, work performance report come here, and from here we get project communication. Work performance report, the comprehensive communication, but from there we get the project communication, whom to communicate, when to communicate, how much to communicate. We don't want to give unnecessary information. Remember that power interest grid. Some stakeholders need more information, some stakeholder that has less interest, they may need quarterly or annual information like CEO. So you need to understand, you need to provide the communication, you need to implement communication management plan, and then in monitoring and control you need to ensure that your communication management plan is effective. What was needed is being done according to that. What was needed becomes according to communication management plan, and if you want to change anything in communication management plan, do that through change control board. Guys, in agile or in hybrid, communication becomes more important because we like to have high touch, low tech tool. This is basically high touch, I can touch, low tech. There is no tech involved in this. High touch, low tech tools. We use information radiator, Kanban board, burn up, burn down chart. All these are communication tools. We are communicating. We work in a co-located environment. Like we try to work in 33 feet area in the same floor. We have caves in which there is something personal. There are semi-cubicle. People can go there. Common area in which people work normally. So communication is very, very important, and this is a job of a project manager. This is a job of a scrum master to ensure that the proper communication flows happen through all direction, through upward stakeholder, downward stakeholder, inward, outward. If you can manage proper communication in your project, right time, to right people, to have the right impact, so you can manage everything in the information. Again, remember, communication management plan is one thing. Even once you make the final report is shared among the stakeholder by following communication management plan. This is the simply most important plan there, because if the communication plan does not exist, you cannot do anything. A question that mostly comes to, like, people ask me, which is the first plan that we created. Normally all plans are created simultaneously, but this, in my opinion, the communication management plan must be the first plan that we must create, because once we have created the communication plan, then we can see how to manage the stakeholder, how to do risk, quality, procurement. So this becomes the most important plan. If you have any question regarding communication topic, do put in the chat box. I would love to answer. And if you have not done PMP so far, our batch is going to start this Friday. We only have one slot left. Yes, 19 students have registered. So maybe you can become the last one, and we will ensure that you become certified PMP in just 1 month after that training. And if you are new to this channel or have not subscribed before, please do subscribe, because our commitment to YouTube is increasing very high. Daily I am putting so many things that can help you become a better person, better project manager, and become certified PMP minimum possible time. And live with passion, become certified PMP. And if you do share your journey. I would love to record. Bye bye.